Greetings and salutations, dear viewers. Get ready for some fantastic content. Greetings, explorers of knowledge. Join us as we embark on a quest to understand Street Cecilia, the Elektra Recordings. Street Cecilia, the Elektra Recordings is a compilation album consisting of recordings by the American rock band the Stalk Forrest Group, who would later be known as Blue Öyster Cult. It is a combination of two albums recorded by the group for Elektra Records, one in 1969 and the other in 1970, as well as the promotional single released in 1970. Except for the single, the tracks were not officially released until 2001, although bootlegs had existed and individual tracks had been released as bonus tracks to other albums. The band had originated as Soft White Underbelly in 1967 but went through several names under its creative director Sandy Pearlman. Soft White Underbelly had recorded demos for Elektra with its original lead vocalist Les Braunstein and re-recorded them with new vocalist Eric Bloom in 1969, the Ray recordings with Bloom forming the first half of the compilation album. Elektra, who had liked Braunstein, declined to release that album with Bloom despite its completion and mixing. In an effort to get Elektra to reconsider its position, Pearlman and the bandnow named Oaxaca traveled from their native New York to California in early 1970 to record more sessions, which form the second half of the compilation album, but the label was losing patience with the band and ended the contract. Despite these failures, the bandnow the Stalk Forrest Group released a single for the label in July 1970. The band continued to struggle without a recording contract and under more names for the next year. Columbia Records, which had rejected the band multiple times in the past, saw the need to compete with the likes of Black Sabbath and promised Pearlman a contract for the band if it could change its sound to that end. The band, which had already started going towards a heavier direction, rehearsed new material and signed the contract in autumn 1971 under the name Blue Öyster Cult. With this contract, the band recorded and released a true debut album in 1972, and would go on to find success in the metal scene in the next decades. Let's now shift gears and explore band formation through a critical lens, uncovering its strengths and weaknesses. Albert Bouchard and Donald Rosa met in college in 1965 in Potsdam, New York, and began playing together in several bands, with Rosa on guitar having taken it up as physical therapy after breaking his arm on Bouchard on drums. The two eventually dropped out of college but continued to play gigs throughout upstate New York, except for a brief stint of Bouchard playing for another band in Chicago. The band that would become the Stalk Forrest Group was the brainchild of Sandy Pearlman, a student of Stony Brook University in Long Island. Pearlman had heard Rosa jam with his band in a common building on the campus of Stony Brook and offered to be their manager. The band, known as Soft White Underbelly in reference to a speech by Winston Churchill regarding Nazi-held Italy during World War I, included Bouchard and Rosa, as well as keyboardist Alan Lanier, bassist Andy Winters, and vocalist and frontman Les Braunstein. Bouchard would retrospectively call Soft White Underbelly's music more of a Grateful Dead-type thing, developing improvisational skills and songwriting abilities, whereas Rosa would credit Pearlman for giving him motivation to play rock on a professional level. The songwriting of the band was largely left to Bouchard, Lanier, Pearlman, and Richard Meltzer, a rock critic as well as childhood friend and classmate of Pearlman's. Winters also contributed some material, as did Braunstein. Braunstein's talents were increasingly at odds with the band's desired metal direction. Tensions also grew with Braunstein taking unnecessary time recording his vocals and insisting on his compositions being recorded. Braunstein was delinquent on payments of his Volkswagen van, which the band used, and upon its repossession in April 1969 the band turned to Eric Bloom. Bloom was a classmate of Braunstein's at Hobart College, and already an acclaimed rock singer in the Finger Lakes region, having been a stage engineer for the band since November 1968. His position was helped by having a van already paid off and complete with a sound system, as well as dealing drugs to the band. Even after Bloom was chosen to replace Braunstein, the band auditioned Pearlman and Meltzer for singing. Despite the lack of success in such auditions, Meltzer sang for the band on one occasion. After Bloom's entry, the band began changing names and concepts frequently. With our curiosity piqued, let's embark on a dedicated exploration of recording and single release and its fascinating intricacies. Soft White Underbelly recorded a demo album for Elektra Records with Braunstein. Meltzer recalled the experience negatively, accusing Braunstein of any way he could to destroy what they were doing because he was a fool and blaming him for the demo albums never being mixed. Nevertheless, Elektra signed the group in January 1969. One of the band's supporters in the label was Jack Holzman, who had attended a show at the Diplomat Hotel. After Braunstein's departure, the group re-recorded the songs in New York with Bloom. The 10-song album was turned into Elektra completed, mixed and mastered, ready for release, but was rejected. A source of the rift between the label and the band was Braunstein, whom the label liked despite his issues with the band. The band recorded new demos of several of the songs for Columbia Records in hopes of scoring a record deal. Some of these Columbia demos eventually surfaced as bonus tracks on the remastered version of the first Blue Öyster Cult album in 2001. After being rejected by Columbia as well, Pearlman convinced Elektra to give the band another shot, and the group traveled to California in February 1970 to begin reworking and re-recording the songs for a full-length album release. Meanwhile, the band had changed its name to Oaxaca, and would soon change it again to the Stalk Forrest Group, the latter name being inspired by Chinese food. By the time of the California sessions, however, Elektra distrusted the band and believed it was using the label for money. The band had received $70,000 in 2021 at this point and, not liking the final album, ended the contract. Pearlman made a final effort to release a single for Elektra, who sent out representative Don Gallucci to New York to record it. Winters decided to abandon the band in favor of his work and failed to appear at this point, leading to his replacement by Bouchard's brother Joe. The band decided to release What is Quicksand. Despite Gallucci's suggestion to release the less psychedelic Gil Blanco County instead, Pearlman also did not want to release that album during the summer, so delayed Holzman a track listing. In retrospect, however, Pearlman was of the opinion that the label did not like the album no matter the other factors straining the relationship. As we enter this new phase, let's analyze subsequent history of Blue Öyster Cult from different angles and evaluate its significance. With its lineup solidified, the band continued to cycle through such names as the Santos Sisters and continued to try getting a record deal. Murray Krugman, a product manager for Columbia, had rejected the band twice previously, but had come around to the idea that Columbia needed an answer to Warner's Black Sabbath, promising Pearlman a contract if the band could change its music to that effect. Pearlman and Krugman rehearsed with the band for around a month to create the appropriate music. Nevertheless, the band still did not have a name. The band renamed themselves Blue Öyster Cult, and finally secured a solid recording contract with Columbia in fall 1971. Get ready for an exciting exploration as we unravel the mysteries of bootlegs and official release. The recordings surfaced as a bootleg in the late years. Confusingly, the bootleg was titled Curse of the Hidden Mirrors, after a song on the Elektra album, but Curse of the Hidden Mirror was eventually used as the title of a Blue Öyster Cult studio album in 2001. The untitled California Elektra album was finally released officially in 2001, along with the previously unreleased original 69 sessions, as Street Cecilia, the Elektra Recordings by Rhino Entertainment in the limited, numbered edition of 5,000 copies. It is now out of print. This same release was reissued in 2013 by Wounded Bird Records and is also now out of print. Inferior bootleg versions of that album with a shuffled track listing are available as grey area releases, such as Street Cecilia, the California album on Radioactive Records, not the real Radioactive label, but a grey area label using the same name. These releases are not made from the original master tapes like the Wounded Bird release. As we enter this new phase, let's navigate the complexities of music and discover its practical applications. The first 9 tracks on the compilation album are from the 1969 recorded demo album EKS 74046, while the following 7 are from the California sessions and the last 2 are from the single release of What is Quicksand. The majority of songs on the compilation therefore appear twice. In this section, we'll be exploring What is Quicksand. What is Quicksand? The opening track of the compilation is the EKS 74046 recording of What is Quicksand. This differs both from the version released as a single also included in the compilation and from another demo released as part of a reissue of the 1972 album. Let's now turn our gaze towards I'm on the Lam and explore the fascinating connections it has to offer. The song I'm on the Lam was re-recorded under the title I'm on the Lam But I Ain't No Sheep for Blue Öyster Cult's first proper album Blue Öyster Cult in 1971. It was reworked and recorded again for the Tyranny and Mutation album 1973 under the title The Red and the Black. Get ready for an exciting part as we dive into Gil Blanco County. The very last part of the song Gil Blanco County would later re-emerge at the end of Don't Fear the Reaper on the popular Live album Some Enchanted Evening 1978. A bridge from Gil Blanco County was used as the main development section in Buck's Boogie, although the progression is indie rather than in Buck's Boogie. In this section, we'll be deep diving into Curse of the Hidden Mirrors, unraveling its complexities and uncovering valuable insights. This title would be recycled for albums, especially Albert Bouchard's Imaginos Act 3, The Mutant Reformation. Now, let's shift our perspective and explore Street Cecilia through a fresh lens, unlocking new perspectives. The titular track, predominantly written by Winters, is a ballad, and would be referenced by Richie Castellano in The Return of Street Cecilia on's The Symbol Remains. In the next phase, we'll be immersing ourselves in the realm of other songs and exploring its real-world applications. The chord changes for Arthur Comics were recycled for the instrumental Buck's Boogie, released on the 1975 live album On Your Feet or On Your Knees. Demo versions of 3 songs from this album What is Quicksand? Donovan's Monkey and A Fact About Sneakers appear on the remastered CD of the album Blue Öyster Cult, as does a cover of the Bobby Freeman tune Betty Lou's Got a New Pair of Shoes. Another song from these sessions, John L. Sullivan, was released on the 2001 promo-only CD God Save Blue Öyster Cult from Themselves. It was also included in the 2012 Blue Öyster Cult box set that compiles all the band's output during their time at Columbia. All were recorded as demos for Columbia Records in 1969. The tracks intended for the Stalk Forrest Group's debut album EKS 74046 were reissued on 15 October 2017 by Australian label Blank Recording Company under the title The Stalk Forrest Group. Brace yourselves for the next chapter, where we'll be dissecting track listing. 1. What is Quicksand? Alan Lanier, Richard Meltzer 319-2. I'm on the Lam Eric Bloom, Albert Bouchard, Sandy Pearlman 3-3. Gil Blanco County Lanier, Pearlman 337-4. Donovan's Monkey Bouchard, Meltzer 344-5. Ragamuffin Dumplin Bouchard, Meltzer 512-6. Curse of the Hidden Mirrors Bouchard, Meltzer 317-7. Arthur Comics Bouchard, Meltzer 311-8. A Fact About Sneakers Bouchard, Meltzer 753-9. Street Cecilia Andrew Winters, Bouchard, Pearlman 648-10. Ragamuffin Dumplin Alternate Mix Bouchard, Meltzer 519-11. I'm on the Lam Alternate Take Bloom, Bouchard, Pearlman 254-12. Curse of the Hidden Mirrors Alternate Mix Bouchard, Meltzer 317-13. Bonomo's Turkish Tuffy deleted from final album Bashard, Meltzer 2-14-14. Gil Blanco County alternate mix Linear, Pearlman 337-15. Street Cecilia alternate mix Bashard, Pearlman, Winters 647-16. A Fact About Sneakers alternate take Bashard, Meltzer 310-17. What is Quicksand? Mono single mix Linear, Meltzer 321-18. Arthur Comics Mono single mix Bouchard, Meltzer tracks are the finished, but unreleased and untitled Elektra album EKS 74,046 tracks taken from earlier version of the unreleased album labeled Oaxaca. Tracks 17 and 18 are from the Elektra promo single EKM 45,693, released July 20, 1970. With the foundation laid, let's embark on a journey into personnel. Eric Bloom aka Jesse Python lead vocals, guitars Donald Rosa aka Buck Dharma lead guitar, vocals Andrew Winters aka Andy Panda bass, acoustic guitar on Street Cecilia. Mr. Winters was never called Andy Panda, at least not to his face. Guild acoustic guitar played by Andrew Winters courtesy of Jackson Brown. Alan Lanier aka Lovern keyboards, guitar Albert Bouchard aka Prince Omega drums, vocals. The nicknames in quotes were given to the band members by manager Sandy Pearlman. Nearly all of the members hated the nicknames, with the exception of Donald Rosa, who continues to use Buck Dharma as his stage name. Let's now turn our gaze towards works cited and explore the fascinating connections it has to offer. Category Blue Öyster Cult albums, category compilation albums, category Elektra Records compilation albums, category Reno Entertainment compilation albums. Share this video with your friends and spread the knowledge.